Hi, legal drafting students. This is Sue Altmeyer, and I'm going to show you how to find forms on Westlaw. The form we're going to find today is a commercial lease with an option to purchase for Ohio. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the form finder, which you see on your screen here is kind of right in the middle. There's a link that says forms. And I could limit by state, and I could limit by topic. I can even limit it to a particular form publication if I wanted to. I'm going to limit by Ohio, and then I'm going to pick the topic real property. And you see what comes up here is a search template that it's going to do an advanced search, and you could fill in this template if you wanted. A useful thing about this template is that it will search in the title of the form only if you wanted to. Say, for example, I could put lease in the title of the form, and I could just search for documents that say lease in the title of the form. I can search just within the text of the form itself. Sometimes forms have a lot of comments and things at the bottom, and you just want to search the text of the form itself. So you could use that search template, or if you want, which is what I'm going to do in this situation, is I'm going to just simply do natural language. So I'm just going to get rid of this advanced. Why am I doing that in this situation instead? Why don't I want to put title lease? Because there might be just a clause and not a lease itself that says purchase, option to purchase, and I might be interested in that. So what I'm going to do a natural language, and I'm going to go. You just have to kind of figure out in the circumstances how you want to do it here. Commercial lease with purchase option. So I'm just doing a natural language search. And I run my search. Now, you notice here that it's pulling up national forms and federal forms as well as state forms. Why is it doing that when I limit it to Ohio? Well, the reason is that Westlaw figures that just in case you don't really find what you need from an Ohio form book, it's going to give you all this other stuff as well. But really, if you are doing something for state, you should try and look at a state form book first that, most likely applies the law of that state. So here I'm going to limit it to Ohio, and I get 664 things, and that's kind of a lot. I could limit it down in various ways over here on the left. One way I could limit it is I could enter search terms here, search within results. Say I wanted to find specifically a part that talks about an option fee. So I can do option within 3 fee. If I want option within 3 words fee, I can also put option fee in quotes if I just wanted the phrase option fee. However, if I just type the words option fee in there, what it's going to interpret it as is option and fee, and I might just get a whole bunch of stuff that I really don't want. So recall from your first year legal writing class that when you're doing search within results, you have to use terms and connectors. Unless you're only putting one search in that box. That little box does not pick up natural language search like the big box does. Okay, so I run my search here, and I just limit down to just one form that actually has that wording in it. Okay, so I'm going to undo my filters, and I'm going to filter by something else. Remember, in the first video I talked about checklists and how useful they can be for your transaction. We see that down here there is, under form type, I could choose just checklists. So I could get a bunch of checklists for drafting commercial leases if I've never done one before, never gone through the process, and that would be helpful to me. Okay, so another thing that you can do, if I undo that, I'm not really going to do it in this situation. I don't think it's going to help that much, but there are filters over here where you can limit it to it would help somewhat. You could limit it to transactional forms or litigation forms. Like, say, if I wanted a complaint having to do with a lease and a purchase option, I could maybe click on litigation and then limit the forms that way. Really what I want now is transactional documents. I want a lease itself, so I can limit it to just transactional. Another thing I wanted to point out here is that when I click on a result, I can always back out to my table of contents by clicking on the table of contents link here in the upper right, and I could see what other surrounding forms there are and if there's anything else that I would want. Okay, the next thing I need to show you is how to pull up a form book if you know the title of the form book. You most likely learned this in first year legal research. If you didn't, what you could do is you could just type the name of whatever it is you want, such as Merrick Ripner. I talked about Merrick Ripner probate law before. I could start typing that in the big box, and wham, there's Merrick Ripner on probate law. The last thing I need to show you, I think I said that was the last thing, but there's another last thing I need to show you. It's called Practical Law. And here it is over on the left, Practical Law. This was originally its own service until Westlaw bought them, but I just wanted to point this out because it has a lot of drafting advice and things like that for a bunch of different topics like labor law, real estate, tax, etc. So you might want to go over here and, take a look at these topics and get some, practice notes and drafting advice and clauses, checklists, etc. Just another different place to look for forms. Okay, and so that wraps it up for finding forms on Westlaw. The next video is going to be finding forms on Lexis.